We've created a restaurant and now we're on the show page of that restaurant. So let's clean this up a little bit so it starts to show us real data here. We've already added the name here. Let's start changing all of this information here so that it shows us what we want it to show us. So it's always a good idea to, especially if you're working from a template, a good idea to kind of get a feel for what you want to do. So in this case, I'm thinking we'll put some information down here on the bottom, possibly a category, the address, the phone numbers, the email. And then in this property description here, instead of it being a description, we'll have it be the reviews of the restaurant. So we haven't built that part of the application yet, but I think that's what we'll want to do here. So let's go into our show page, and in the 2.5 million right here, let's have it be our ratings. And we haven't built that in yet either, but eventually we'll want this to show us real data and show us real ratings of the restaurant. So we can just simply start changing things up here. So instead of bedrooms, we'll put category. Save it just to make sure that it worked. Bathrooms, we'll put description. Actually, website, that might sound a little bit better. And our property type, we'll put description here. And then we can get rid of the square feet right here since we don't really need that. We do a refresh. Instead of year, we'll put phone number. Instead of listing type, the email. Do a refresh. And instead of parking, we'll put address. Now the address is going to be slightly different. We can get rid of this neighborhood right here. Address is going to be slightly different. Let's just line this up a little bit. We want to show at the restaurant address line 1. Do a break there. And I believe we need one more. 2, city, state, zip code. So we don't need that last one. Do a refresh, and there you have it. Now it's not going to show us anything because we didn't put in an address when we created this restaurant. And same with all of the other information here. This would really be restaurant description. Oh, make sure that's a lowercase. So it's not going to show us anything, and I don't believe we actually have a website column. So if we go into our schema here, so we didn't add website to our restaurants table. That's fine, we'll add that later. But for category, it would. You know what? We didn't add that. We didn't do that part yet either. So we'll just say Italian for now, and that's going to show Italian across the board. But that's perfectly fine. We'll add in the category later. Restaurant phone. Let's do a refresh. There you have it. And email. I believe we have email. So it's not, again, it's not showing anything because we didn't enter in any of that information. We just entered in the name. But it would if we did enter something in, and later on we can definitely put in some validations to ensure that in order to create a restaurant, it has to have an address, it has to have an email, it needs to have a description. So down at the bottom here is our property description, and instead of it being a property description, we want it to be all of our reviews. But because we haven't built our reviews yet, we'll just say no reviews yet, and instead of property description, we'll just say reviews. So there you have it. We've cleaned up our show page. Again, there isn't much data to show, so it's not giving us anything here. But as we continue to build out the application, this will fill out and it'll look more, it'll have more data, it'll have real data.